In this video, I want to discuss a self-portrait of Pablo Picasso done in the 1970s with a selfie of Miley Cyrus from 2015. So first I want to talk about the different lifestyles of these icons and how they changed over time. So Pablo Picasso was born in Spain in 1881 to an artistic family. His dad was an art teacher, and all throughout his schooling he was never the smartest kid. He was always very good at drawing and painting, and so he ended up actually dropping out of school and joining this artistic group that was about experimentation and innovation. And he had 5 main periods all throughout his career, and the one that I'm going to focus on today is his self-portraits of facing death. Miley Cyrus was born in 1992 in Franklin, Tennessee, to a family of singers and actors, which is where a lot of her artistic talent comes from. She was the lead in Hannah Montana for quite a few years, but eventually she decided that she no longer wanted to do that and she wanted to pursue a career of singing. So after finishing her TV show, she decided to start her solo singing career. And after doing that for a while, she decided that she no longer wanted to appear as this all-American girl that she was in Hannah Montana, and so she turned more towards like hip-hop and pop music, and she just had this very edgy and fun. In Pablo Picasso's self-portrait facing death, he used crayon and paper to draw it, and some advantages of that were that it came off very creative and different and distinctive, but some disadvantages is that it came off a little too inexpensive looking, and it didn't necessarily portray a professional artist's skill. Miley Cyrus used her cell phone to take her selfie in 2015. Some advantages of that is that it was easy for her to manipulate and edit if need be, and if she didn't like one, she could easily just take another. But some disadvantages is that it can easily alter the way she looks in terms of her weight, her height, her hair color, skin color. It all depends on the lighting and where she is. So I think that was a big downfall of using herself. So the intention behind both works, I think, were more similar than they were different. They both portrayed a very pure form of both of these artists in a certain period of their life. So in Miley Cyrus's photo, it was more fun. There wasn't really like an intention that was blatant. It was just to show her world and just like really show her transformation of that all-American girl, Miley Stewart, to her transformation of being Miley Cyrus and who she is in her 20s. Contrasting with Miley Cyrus' selfie, Pablo Picasso's self-portrait facing death definitely has a very blatant intention behind it, and it's just to show that he's so close to death and just like to see the fear in his face, and I think he really wanted to show that in his eyes. And so I have this quote from one of my sources, and it says, "He is battered by time and is facing mortality, and his gaze seems terrified but brave," which I just think is a really perfect description of how this portrait comes off. It just puts it into words so clearly. With the intentions, there was only one big contrast that I could find between these two photos, and that was just the time periods of their lives. So Miley Cyrus took her selfie in her 20s, and just a very youthful time of her life, while Pablo Picasso took his, well, he drew his in his 90s, just a few months before he died. Miley Cyrus's audience was mainly her Instagram followers, but also those who aren't following her. I feel that she posted this picture to really draw people's eyes in, and so even if they weren't following her, she wanted to maybe get a follow from that and be like, hey, I'm different, follow me, and just like, it was a very intriguing selfie. So I think that her audience was not just her Instagram followers, but really a lot of people who could just view herself. Pablo Picasso's audience for his self-portrait facing death was mainly the people that loved him, not just in terms of his family, but also those people that had followed him throughout his entire artistic career, because it was a very intimate self-portrait of him and his fears of facing death. So I think it was for those people who were just really, who knew him throughout his entire life, whether it was through face-to-face or it was through his painting. Methods for distribution and viewing for Miley Cyrus's selfie was through Instagram, which is just very easy for everyone to access and see that picture along with all of her other photos. And for Pablo Picasso, for this painting at the time, it was really only through art museums that you could see this, but now you're able to find it online. Overall, I found that these photos were way more similar than they are different. After doing research, I found so many little aspects of each of their lives that played into how similar these photos are. Looking at it at first glance, you would not think that they would have anything in common, but even down to the coloration, they are very similar.